Live. We are live. We are live. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us yet again for another episode. Actually, believe it or not, episode 10 of The Rebound. And so I have my friend here, Patrick, with us today. He leads the HR department for DMSI International out of Southwest Florida. And we're going to be talking about resume tips, things that employers look for, some do's and don'ts. And he kind of definitely perked my interest when we spoke a couple weeks ago about how to customize a resume, which I never thought about per employer. So I thought that was great. So I'm looking forward to hearing some tools and tips. And I know that some people out there are going to be looking for jobs because some of the jobs that are let's just face it, they're not going to be there anymore. Right. So I'm excited to have Patrick here with us today. Also, the premise of the show is really to help equip people where they're at now. And also after the dust settles, hopefully very soon here with this COVID-19, and equipping them with some of the tools to rebound out of this. And so we had Matt Jones from Jones Family Insurance talking about how to save money on your property casualty, flood, and auto, things like that. We had Josh, the mortgage man, on talk about refis, and we were getting into the F word, forbearance. What is that? And do's and don'ts about that. So coming up on Monday, we have the CEO of DHY Media. He's streaming in from North Carolina. His name is Anthony DeNardis. Super excited to have him on the program. And also Wednesday, we have a great group of people that are professionals in the reverse mortgage world. And they're going to be educating us on, how to pull equity out in your retirement years and how to leverage that financial asset. So looking forward to that. So anyhow, let's jump in. I'm a CEO of Ideal Retirement Solutions here in Southwest Florida. We have 2 locations, and we're going to jump right in. Patrick, so thank you so much for being here with us today, and really excited to hear about some of the things we're going to discuss. And I mean, you had mentioned something before us going live, which I'm going to touch on for any of the viewers out there. Have any of you guys ever seen The Office? So Toby's in the HR department, right? And so my wife and I, that's one of our go-to shows. I'm just doing a watch party over here, guys. Don't mind me. So anyways, the Office is one of our go-to shows. If we had a stressful day, we just want to kind of kick back and just laugh and kind of be silly. Toby is the head of HR in The Office, and my wife, Vanessa, always feels bad for Toby because Michael, the boss, is always picking on Toby. So it's important to laugh, especially nowadays. Like, you get laughter, it's like it's medicine in a lot of different ways. But let's jump in. Patrick, DMSI International. Thank you for being here. So, what's going on?
Kind of like everybody, we're just we're trying to keep our business going as much as we can. We're classified an essential business. We are fiber optic connectivity products manufacturing. So a lot of our equipment is for telecommunications, government use. So we are essential. And so we're trying as best as we can to have our employees come in as much as possible, putting up the safeguards. And so I feel very blessed that I'm still able to come in and help my employees and other people with the equipment we get. But I also, like we were talking, I've got a lot of family up in Michigan. I'm down here, and I'm seeing the unemployment that's going on and what could be happening. And so I just wanted to reach out as much as I could and help people with some of the processes for looking for jobs, resumes, because I feel it's an area where a lot of people feel overwhelmed or unsure of themselves, or just kind of like, okay, it's a piece of paper. Is this right? And then they look at it, forget about it. So I figured as much as I could help, I'd want to do that.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And we have Corey on. Vanessa said yes about The Office. And Vanessa, my wife, also said poor Toby with a sad face on the comment. But you definitely don't take us for a Toby. That's for sure. Especially our conversations we've had. I know we hung out, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe it was at the Northport Leadership. There was the gangster night, not the gangster night. Was it the Roaring 20s?
Time Travelers.
Oh, Time Travels. Yeah. So that was a fun night. And so regarding let's say, someone's unemployed now. they're not necessarily looking to go back. Let's take restaurant workers, service industry for a minute.
Mhm.
And let's say if they're looking for a change, and they're crafting a resume, I guess depending on what, and again, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just guessing here, like, depending on what industry you'd be looking at, like, how many different, like, resume templates or formats should you have?
I would say use one format or template, but change the wording, especially in your areas for skills. As you go, I'll kind of start. I wanted to touch on a few things, and that'll fall into it as well. But on the job posting, they'll tell you the skills that they're looking for, the experience that they're looking for. So they're giving you the answers to the test. So you just want to kind of alter your resume every time you submit it based on what they're looking for. An example, I pulled up a job posting before we got on for an HR position, and they wanted somebody that has experience doing payroll. And they said, if these 4 systems, well, I've never used any of those systems. So I would put in there, I have experience with payroll systems, and then I put the systems that I'm familiar with.
Okay, versus saying I don't have experience.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, I don't have experience with those 4 systems, because you may not have experience with those systems, but a lot of times they're also looking, are you able to learn? So I didn't have experience with the system this company used when I got here, but when I interviewed, I'm like, I've learned other systems. I've learned the systems very quickly. And so it wouldn't take me very much time to learn your system and get up to speed. So they're not always looking for an exact system as well. That's what they use. If you used another system, you also want to be able to say, I'm also able to learn very quickly on that particular system.
Gotcha. Now, I know we had chatted through a couple of different things before jumping on, and I have some questions too, but I don't want to throw you on some of the things that you have, because I don't want to be repetitive either because of our limited time. So what are some of your, some of those topics we discussed prior to going live?
Sure. So, I mean, the first step is, well, first I have to do a very Toby type thing. The advice will not guarantee you interviews or jobs. The advice and information I'll be talking about will hopefully give you an advantage or more tools to use in looking for a job with the application and interview process, or give you a better understanding of some of the processes and help with confidence. So what I'm going to say is not 100% slam dunk. That's my Toby piece for the day.
So I think maybe it'd be good, like, even to start high level, because prior to starting Corey and I starting our own financial planning firm, where I worked for a bigger box company, I was the hiring manager for, in essence, Southwest Florida here. And so I'd have people come in shorts and a t-shirt, people not even brush their hair. I even had a bank robber come in for an interview as a financial advisor. Are you kidding me? Like,
I've seen stuff like that. Yeah. There are some that are funny. And one of the other things, there's little things that I kind of chuckle at sometimes. And so I'm like, I want to make sure I talk about that today as well. It's just little things that some people just don't even think about. But when you're trying to hire somebody, you're kind of like, oh, okay. So there's little tips I kind of put in there as well for today's talk.
Great.
I wanted to jump in kind of at the very beginning is looking for the job. So I was watching ABC Channel 7 News out of Sarasota and saw great websites. Northport Chamber of Commerce and the Manatee Chamber of Commerce have this page on their site, and I can put a link on Facebook and on the messages later. And it takes to a bunch of different websites that can help you with the job hunting process. It's called Job Focus, and it's very limited to Southwest Florida, where we're at for job postings.
So it's focused.
Yes, and there were some really good jobs that I saw in there as well. They also have a link if you're having trouble applying for unemployment. There's a link to take you to apply for unemployment on that page. Career Source, Suncoast, which will help with job hunting skills as well. One of my favorite ones I saw was Hiring Our Heroes, which focuses on veterans. And so it'll help the wives of veterans or the husbands of veterans. Yes.
By the way, I'm the white guy. Yeah, as 18 years old there in the Army. So
And it helps
about
with
the
one
veterans.
area that I've really noticed when I interview or talk to veterans. It helps them craft their resume to take what they did or learned in the military and translate it into a job once they're out of the military. And one thing that I've seen with some interviews with some veterans is it's very hard for them to take what they did in the military and translate it into how they could help a company out. So I really like that one. And then there's also one for Handshake, which deals a little bit more with college students for job hunting. And
Gotcha.
you kind of have your typical Indeed, iHire, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Craigslist. But I would be very cautious with Craigslist. I think of all of the sites, you're more likely to run into a scam on Craigslist looking for a job posting.
Gotcha.
And then one thing that I did the last time when I was looking for a position, and it helped me a lot, is I have a notebook or a log. And so as I'm going through these websites looking for jobs that I'd like, I'll write down the company and I'll write down the position. And instead of maybe doing the application through Indeed, I will go to that company's website. Because sometimes with Monster and those, they've already paid for the space and the time. So even if the position is closed right now, it may still be posted on Monster. But if you go to their website, it's more likely to be updated if that position's still available.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And definitely watch out for Craigslist. And one of the things I always hear, and again, I'm not sure if I totally agree with it or I don't, but I always hear people say, find something you're passionate about and do it, or find something that's meaningful to you and then go pursue it. And then there's the opposite side of the thought process, whereas find meaning in what you're doing. So there's two different thought processes.
Yes, and I've done both. I was about 40, 41 when I graduated with my college degree to do HR because I kind of figured out that's what my passion is. That's what I enjoy doing. Went back to school so that I could pursue that full time. Before that, my meaning was to provide a paycheck to provide for my family. So there's all ways of looking at it.
Right. No, that makes sense. And, for me, it was, all my years, I was in full-time pastoral ministry, vocational ministry. That was, my vocation. It's how I provided for my family, and always loved serving people. Always loved helping. When someone was in need, I was attracted to that, to give them a hand up. Just the finances weren't there. Family of four of earning $32,000 a year, it just doesn't work. So I looked at, where are some streams I could still help people, but yet make more money doing it. And, naturally here we are as the, financial advisor.
Yes. And kind of going back to the notebook, there's other things that having that notebook help with. Kind of helps keep you organized. As I would hear responses from people, I would jot it down, appointments for phone interviews or personal interviews. And then especially nowadays too, if unemployment's like, okay, we need you to verify what have you looked for, you've got a really easy list. Like, okay, this week I applied to 15 positions. I heard back from 3. And then it helps keep you organized and kind of focused on it. And then I also tell people, set a specific time, maybe 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. or noon, or 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., where your focus is doing job applications or looking for jobs. And don't wear your pajamas when you're doing it. It helps put you in the right frame of mind while you're doing these things. And then another big thing almost in any business, especially now, network. Talk to people. They may not be hiring now, but 2 or 3 months from now, they may be hiring. And it's a good thing to do nowadays too, because people are so isolated somewhat. Reach out to people, reaffirm that relationship with them. And it's not always them helping you. It could be you helping them, which is a great feeling as well. If somebody you've reached out to network with, and then your company's like, yeah, we need to hire a few more people, and you can be like, I know the perfect person, or I do know somebody. If they get hired, usually if I'm the one that referred them, I really feel good about it as well.
Right. And Corey just commented on here. So speaking of don't wear pajamas, Jeff, let's see those pants. Oh my gosh. He's gonna shout me out. I'll show you. I'm not ashamed. So I'm business on top and party on the bottom.
And I met you through Corey, and Corey's been in my company enough to know that we wear shorts into the office as well, because we really don't meet with customers all the time. So I'm in shorts as well.
Right. And hey, it's all situational, right? And so typically, when we're teaching our university workshops to pre-retirees, we're very much in our suits and ties and, our jackets. And however, once, that relationship is established and, our clients become our friends, so sometimes they'll catch us in polos and shorts and flip-flops on a Friday. Or, sometimes I get like a double take when I go to a restaurant and someone sees me in normal clothes. Jeff, is that you? I'm like, yeah, believe it or not, I always don't wear a suit and tie. So it's just being comfortable, I guess. Corey, don't start any more trouble, okay? But yeah, I didn't mean to sidetrack you.
No problem. Kind of the next thing to talk about would be the actual resume after you've done some of the job searching. Especially nowadays, you really want to make sure your resume is one page. And I kind of tell people that resume is like a page advertisement or flyer of you that you're giving to that company.
Gotcha. So a one pager. So sometimes I see people coming in with it's almost like a bound book.
Yes.
Of a resume.
Yeah, it's kind of like a movie. You want a sizzle reel, or you want something that grabs their attention but doesn't tell them the whole story before they go and give you the money to go and see the movies.
Yeah, kind of like
make sure that advertisement is what you're thinking about with the resume.
Right, the highlight, right? The highlight reel. And sometimes the highlight reel is, I guess it overstates the quality of the movie. Like all the best parts of the whole movie were squeezed into a 2-minute.
You want the company to see enough that they're like, okay, this person meets our needs or is interested. I want to find out more about them.
Okay, so one pager. Now, would you say picture or no picture on the resume? I know that's a topic that people like.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the job somewhat. I tend to say no with the picture. You're just giving a hiring person another either conscious or unconscious reason not to pull you in for an interview. They can see what you look like, and they may say, oh, this person looks a little too young for the job, a little too old for the job, too pretty for the job. That's why I didn't put one on there. I didn't want them to see the resume and be like, we don't want this pretty boy in the office.
So Corey would have no problem then. All right, he'd be in the office. Me, forget about it, Yeah. Oh, so I'm just being silly. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So no picture. They'll see you when you go in for the interview. So by putting a picture there, you could be kind of limiting yourself before you gave yourself a chance even.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, much more professional, I would lean to, then you'd be more maybe inclined to put a picture on it. But for the most part, especially now, because there's going to be so much competition, I kind of wrote some numbers down today. Florida on the 18th of this month was at 1.2 million unemployed. Last year at the exact same time, we had 337,000 people employed. So almost 1 million people over last year for unemployment. That's 1 million people you're going to be kind of competing with. So I think you want to tell the company what they're looking for, but try to limit how you hurt yourself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And always to be putting the best foot forward, I think, is in every situation is something good to do.
Mm-hmm.
So one page on a resume, no picture on the initial resume. Now, should you have like a follow-up resume? Is that a thing? Like a more detailed?
Well, you could use a cover letter. I kind of say if you've got maybe pertinent information that doesn't really fit in the resume, but you want them to know, you could put that in the cover letter. I know the last time there was a position where I had access or relationship with somebody that worked at like a dental school, and it was for a dental type position. And so it was like, I know some of the teachers at the dental school, so I have access to talk to them in recruiting. And that's not really something I could put in the resume, but it is something that I wanted to expound on more in an interview. So I kind of put that into a cover letter as well.
Gotcha. Now, I'm not sure if this is on your list or not, but can we talk about like social media and how employers look at social media, like when they're interviewing someone, or is that?
Yeah, that is something that is different state by state. So with Florida, you're supposed to be able to look at it, my understanding, but you can't use the same things if I was talking face to face. So I can't use age, race, sex, anything like that to determine but they can look at your Facebook page.
So if someone's all drunk, giving someone the Italian sign language,
Yeah,
with a blunt hanging out of their mouth, then you could use that, right?
I had it in my notes. I would clean up Facebook at this point.
All right.
Because not all will look at it, but especially the smaller the business, the more likely they may be to look at it.
Right, because that person ultimately is the face of the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they have. It's one thing if you're, interior inside the building working and not going out representing the company, but if you're like, networking, if you're, the face of the company, then you have to make sure that it's scrubbed. Pretty. You want to be honest and truthful to who you are, but at the same time, if you're living a life that's contrary to what the company's trying to portray, it could be contradicting itself.
Yeah, and that's one of those gray areas. A lot of HR won't do it unless they talk to the person maybe first or as part of a background check. But from my understanding, we can do it, but because then it would be hard to say, okay, I can't justify I didn't hire you because you're a female or a male because I looked at your Facebook page or I looked to see how old you actually are. Most of them try to stay away from it.
No, the legalities more than me regarding that. But how, some of the, when in years past when I was recruiting and stuff, and I would just type in the person's name on LinkedIn or sometimes I would Google their name and then do / mugshots. Is that okay to do as an HR person?
No.
Well,
not enough money to do it as a background check.
Then. That's where I met that bank robber that I interviewed. He was interesting. nice guy. He was just a getaway driver, he said, but he still did 21 years. Yeah. And then, anyway, hey, I think we got about 7 minutes left. Now, I think you touched on it a little, but like we were talking about how to like specifically customize a resume, like to deliver it to an employer and how, like a lot of times, if you're looking at the job description, they're giving you a lot of the answers.
Yes.
Is what they're looking for. And I thought that was intriguing because, when I was in pastoral ministry, I kind of bounced around a lot in ministry, but I would just like buckshot so many different resumes out there and kind of go like this versus looking at the position and go, I'm really intrigued by that position. Let me tweak my resume a little bit to kind of land or to kind of level up a little bit in the selection process.
And there's certain kind of sections you want on a resume, your name and title, contact information, kind of like your personal or work objectives, what you're looking to gain for in a small section, and highlights and skills is where you really want to alter it from company to company, where you're looking at like hard skills first, what kind of computer programming, and then your soft skills like attention to detail or communication skills would be towards the end of it. And so that's where you really want to look at the job description and tailor your resume. And then your work history or experience would be another section, and then your education and certifications that you've earned. And then I'll put this in there because it's happened to me time and time again. Contact information in there, just ask or make sure that you clear your phone mailbox. I have gotten resumes. I've called them to set up an interview or do a phone interview, and I get the message, the person that you're trying to call's mailbox is full. Please try again. Well, if I'm looking at 150 resumes a day right now, I'm not going back to call that person. So just make sure your voicemail is empty.
Something so simple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
And I'd say in the last 3 years here, it's probably happened to me about 7 times.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's, and I had that happen with a representative from a financial company we deal with, and he's working from home, so his voicemail was full. I'm like, what? Yeah. So anyway, and I get it, and I guess one of those things. Mine is always open, like because I'm cleaning messages, just because I guess it drives me nuts when it happens to me.
Yeah.
We have about 3 minutes left before we kind of wind down into the outro. But anything like on your list that we didn't touch on that's kind of a hot button item right now for people, or is there? I know you said you're going to post some links about resources.
Yes.
Any? Do you know of any like local companies? For our local people that are hiring.
The jobfocus.com one has a lot of local ones. I mean, I know I saw Publix was hiring. I don't know if they've filled the positions that they were looking to hire. So it's really going to be kind of a check-in on day to day. I know a lot. We're looking to start reopening the state up somewhat on the 1st. Beaches are opening up Monday. So as we start to reopen, you'll start to see maybe some more postings.
That's good. I kind of hope we open up with wisdom, the right way, and this way I can get back to the beach and go fishing from the beach, enjoy it. And plus, I'm running out of home projects, and it's getting expensive.
Yeah. Before we run out of time, a few things I'd say when you're looking at your resume too. If there's a job that you did that matches what they're looking for, but chronologically it's way down the list, there's no law that says you have to go chronological. That's what most people are used to. That's kind of how it's always been done. But you can kind of move the jobs around. Just make sure that you use the word work experience versus work history. Because work history says, this is my history. Work experience is more, this is what I've done.
General, yeah.
When you fill out the application, they usually ask for a full work history. But again, that flyer or advertisement of the resume is what you want them to see at the very beginning. Then I'd also kind of say for job references, most people have 3, that's it. Maybe look at 10 and customize your references to the job you're looking for as well. So I did retail for a long time. If I was going to apply for a job with Publix, that's the type of people that I would want as my references because they speak the lingo. They'd be able to say, I've seen him with customer service. I've seen how he deals with the logistics of emptying the truck, getting it to the floor. Whereas with the HR position, I would want maybe somebody that would be able to speak about how they've seen, like my college professor in HR for my degree, or somebody that's seen me do HR processes as well. So you kind of want to get references that speak the lingo of the job you're looking for.
Now, those are all great, useful tips that people can implement immediately during the job hunt. And so, hey, we're going to be landing the plane here. I just want to say thank you for those tips. And I encourage you guys watching this, watching it later, tomorrow, next week, whatever it is, go through and watch some of the other episodes. And also, if you know someone who's looking for a job, please share this or tag them on it. I mean, this is really good educational information that's going to help people rebound, for sure. So thank you, Patrick, for being here. And I look forward to seeing everyone rebound out of this situation that we're going through, this whole COVID-19. And also super excited for Monday here at the Rebound, episode number 11 with the CEO of DHY Media. It's going to be a great show. He's going to be equipping business owners with some social media tips. He is a guru. He's phenomenal with the marketing. He taught me a lot of what I know regarding, social media marketing, things of that nature. And it's just an important tool for business right now. And, and moving forward, it's kind of changed how we do things a lot. Also, Wednesday, we're going to be learning about reverse mortgages. So if you have parents or grandparents that might want to chime in on the show, make sure you're watching that as well. They're going to be educating us on a lot of the different changes that went on in the last 5 years and how it could be part of a strategy in retirement. So all that being said and done, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Patrick, shout out again. Thank you so much for your passion that you have, and look forward to seeing those links get posted. Hey, Patrick, do me a favor. Just hang tight. We're going to jump off live here. We'll see you guys later.